Welcome to Drinks in the Library, the only library where drinks aren't just allowed, they are required. I'm your librarian host, Gigi Howard, and each episode I'll be interviewing a guest about a much-loved book that we will be pairing with a drink for you to enjoy along with us or consider for your next book club meetup. As always, stay curious and support your local library. Hello, Libration Nation. This week we are discussing The Language of Flowers by Vanessa Diffenbaugh. It's the poignant story of Victoria Jones, a woman who uses the Victorian tradition of flower symbolism to communicate her emotions and navigate a troubled past. As she learns to reconcile her experiences through the meanings of various flowers, she embarks on a journey of healing and self-discovery that intertwines love, loss, and the power of community and relationships. My guest this week is Mary Green. Mary is a florist, dog mom, wife, plant lover. She's also my next door neighbor. Mary loves live music, spending time with friends and family, and books with dark twists and turns. Our drink this week is a Hibiscus Paloma Mocktail, which we made using NA Tequila. I love Ritual Tequila for this. And one more thing before we get started, if you're enjoying Drinks in the Library, please tell a friend about it, like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and review. That helps me find more listeners, and I really appreciate it. All right, let's get to it. So maybe that's how we'll launch into this, is you are my next door neighbor.
Yep, for many years.
For many years. So I was so glad you agreed to come on the podcast. This is exciting. So our book this week is The Language of Flowers by Vanessa Diffenbaugh. Mm-hmm. And I guess just jump into my first question of who were you when you read this book?
So I know the book came out, I think they said 2011.
Yeah.
I read it like 9 months ago. Mm-hmm. So really like similar to who I am now, but it came up as a Spotify recommended audiobook. Oh. And I was like, that's really interesting. Okay. I'm a florist. Why not? We'll check it out. Just because I know that there are definitions to certain flowers, but I also know there's 18 different dictionaries. Or not really different dictionaries, but there are several variations of definitions for flowers. And a lot of them contradict each other. Really? And so I was fascinated to see how they chose to implement the language of flowers into her life in the book. And having been someone like I have been gifted the complete language of flowers. Can
I take a look at it?
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
So, and I know like at the shop I work at, we've carried other language of flowers books. And I've gone through and been like, oh, that's really weird. Like, lavender means distrust, but then also lavender can mean devotion. And so it's really interesting to see. So that was why I was like, I'm fascinated to see how they chose to do their take.
So in the book, she chooses like a Victorian. And so I'm looking through here real quick because our drink involves hibiscus.
Yeah.
And
I knew I meant to look something up.
I was like, what does hibiscus mean? Okay. Beauty, delicate beauty. Okay. Peace and happiness, rare beauties. Thank God.
Right? Could you imagine if it was like malice?
Distrust from my next door neighbor. All good things for you, girl.
That's the goal in life.
Okay, so I'm loving. Okay, a definitive this is The Complete Language of Flowers by S. Teresa Dietz. I don't know how to say that wrong. But anyway, yeah, it's all in alphabetical orders. Very cool. Okay, going back to the book. Yes. So she chooses like a Victorian.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that was the part that I found so interesting was like she grew up with this like firm belief of like this is the only definition for these flowers. And then later in the book she does find out that there are different dictionaries for it. And some of them are conflicting. And I love that they brought that up in the book and that her and Grant, one of the other characters in the book, tried to create their own dictionary together of what they found best fit each flower, to create their own language. And I think her belief in the definitions of the flowers is what made her arrangements so powerful to those around her and in her community that she made them for. And I loved that, like, the language of flowers, when I was talking to my husband about this, flowers can say things that, like, we have trouble finding words for. So flowers tend to get this bad name that they always mean I'm sorry. It's always the husband that messed up. I stayed out too late. Here's flowers. I'm so sorry. Mm-hmm. But really it can mean my mom just found out she's cancer-free. It can mean we just celebrated 50 years of marriage. Mm-hmm. It can mean we'll miss them together. Mm-hmm. It can mean so many other things. I don't personally subscribe to a language of flowers because, again, it can be so conflicting from, like, dictionary to dictionary. Also, as a florist, we're looking at color patterns and shapes. So you can be like, oh, yellow roses means friendship, but you're not going to put that with bright red something. It's going to look like mustard and ketchup. Yeah. We don't subscribe to it from, like, a design standpoint. Mm-hmm. But I think that flowers, even if you're not looking at the dictionary of them, it can say so much that we struggle to find words for, mm-hmm. and gifting them and things like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I want to talk like a lot about your relationship with plants, but before we do, I do want to kind of jump into like the text and the story a little bit. I know Victoria is our main character.
Yes.
So who is Victoria?
So Victoria is a young woman, 18 years old, emancipated from the foster system, who bounced through a lot of group homes and families that treated her very terribly. And her birth mother gave her up basically at birth. So she never had a family from the get.
Yeah.
She finally lands with the woman, Elizabeth, who is a single woman living on a vineyard with a small flower farm. And this is the one that cultivates her love for the language of flowers and plants, and she's the one that is able to build a connection that she was never able to have with anyone else. And I think that that's like the main point of the book, is her like building this connection, because that is like the saving grace of all ailments kind of thing, is connection and grace and forgiveness. And so Elizabeth teaches Victoria, to learn all of these things. Mm-hmm. The forgiveness aspect, the connection aspect, like it really pulls everyone out of whatever terrible hole they're in.
Yeah.
Connection is the thing that heals
most things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Victoria, and like watching Victoria in this book, like the whole time she is still, it's a back and forth of like when she was a child living with Elizabeth to when she is an adult and she's emancipated out of the foster program, and her life as she like learns to stand on her own 2 feet, from going homeless to finally becoming a florist, and the people who help her along the way.
Yeah. I was just, sorry if it pulls us out of the story a little bit, but I was like thinking, like preparing for this a little bit, and 60% of our homeless population have been in foster care.
It's horrific. Yeah. I was thinking about that, and I think that's what I like about this book so much, is they hit on like how the foster system, like how there are the good people in it, obviously, who are there, who want to help, who want to like help get kids back up on their feet and give them their best shot. But there are also these really terrible situations through it, and that the system is actually very broken for that reason.
Yeah. And I think that the author, that was her message. So I don't know if you know anything about her. She has fostered. So she has 2, I guess, adopted children or children that came of age in her care. But anyway, yes, so she has 2 foster kids. And then she also, I think, had a like foster situation that she was trying, but ended up like it didn't work out. And so I think, I mean, I read an article like that, and I was a little taken aback, I guess, because I thought, like, you writing this book about the foster care system, but then you have also had children that you gave back, like that put back in failed foster situation. But yeah, I think that her heart was broken over those situations a little bit. So going back to Victoria, what are some of the situations that she finds herself in? I mean, obviously Elizabeth is a positive situation.
Yeah, up until the end, I think, but some of them were like, she talks about how she's always hungry, and like she's starving all the time, and like having a foster mom who basically challenged her hunger, and she was like, what is your favorite food and what is your least favorite food? And she's like, my favorite food's pizza, but my least favorite food is frozen peas. And she shows up to dinner, and the foster mom gave her a bowl of frozen peas.
Are they... So I read this book like 10 years ago, so I prepped for it, but it's been a minute.
I like re-listened to it a little bit leading up to this just to make sure I was up on it. And I forgot about that part. And I was so floored. Yeah. And I was like, that's heartbreaking. And she was like, the first day I walked away from the table without eating. The second day I walked away from the table without eating. The third day I was so weak I couldn't pull the chair out from the table. And she's like, I tried to eat it. I got 36 peas in and threw it back up into the bowl. And she made me re-eat it, kind of thing. Exactly. I was like, that's heart-wrenching. It's heartbreaking. Yeah. Especially to be like, I assume she's 8 at this point. And she talks about how when her caseworker comes to pick her up, she'd already lost 5 pounds. And it was like only 3 months in. Like at 8 years old, losing 5 pounds is a lot. And so like to know, or like being put in rooms with other girls who they don't like each other, and because she didn't grow up in like a normal household, she's very retaliatory. And she talks about even when she, up to her last day in the group home, like the girls tried to set her bed on fire because like she had also been really mean to them, but like that's just how they were in the group homes. Like they were all, because they were this group of kids that everyone had decided would never be adopted. They were unadoptable. And so it's like this ingrained thought, like these foster families and group homes that like told them they were unworthy of a home or unworthy of love or unworthy of that connection. And it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, like, and how central is that tenet for kids to know that I'm worthy of love?
Yeah. Without having to try for it. Like, you are worthy without a condition. Yeah. You deserve this as a base level of like care. Yeah. And to think kids don't... So there are kids that grow up not thinking that is just...
Yeah. There are 340,000 children in the foster care system in the United States.
I'm really impressed with your knowledge of the statistics.
Oh, well, in prepping for this...
You're like, I did look it up.
I am prepped for this, and then we'll see. So we kind of covered Victoria a little bit. What are some other tenets of the story that really pulled you in?
I loved Renata. The florist, like the floral shop owner. Yeah. She was kind of this like tough love aspect in it, where she was just like, you're dirty, you need a job. All right, I'll give you $5 to do this. And then she slowly kind of like pulls her in and like gives her a place to stay and feeds her and pays her up front and like all of these things, which are like so deeply kind, but then also catches her sleeping in like the cooler. And she's, dude, come on. Get up. We gotta go. I know you didn't sleep last night. That's not my problem. Go get some coffee. Like, where she was like the perfect line of nurturing, but also kind of a hard ass. All right, you get it together. We gotta get you on your feet. We gotta get you going. Let's go. Yeah. And the fact that she also didn't have a super tight relation. Like, she had a very tight relationship with her family, but didn't always agree or align with them, and still brings Victoria to her family for the Christmas party and like forces her into this family situation that Victoria's never had. And she's, I'm uncomfortable. These people are like all around me. What's happening? And Renata's just, it's family. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. And I loved that throughout the book, even towards the end, when, obviously I don't want to spoil it, but when Victoria finds herself in a situation she like can't quite get out of, Renata still shows up like once a week to help care for her, even though Victoria stopped showing up at work. And then when she starts her own floral business, like something comes up and she's unable to finish a wedding, and she sends them to Renata, and Renata like constant, like she gets her set up in the floral business and continues to, I don't want to say hold her hand, because she doesn't hold her hand. She doesn't like, oh, it's okay, sweet baby. But she is, oh, you're in trouble, I'm going to jump in and help you. And I love that camaraderie of, I don't know, I've worked in a lot of businesses where there's a lot of like competition. And I love when you can see two businesses just be like, oh no, I see you struggling and you need this help. Let me send out a hand. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm a sucker for things like that.
I'm a very nice person and I care about other people.
Well, like, I do. I enjoy seeing people work together. And like I said, I've worked in a lot of really competitive businesses. Yes. And being like I coached gymnastics for almost 15 years. Like working in a business where people always say they're for the kids, but then it's really more of an ego thing. I want to show that I'm the best. And And it's like, shouldn't we, like, be working on this kid that, like, they might not be the best gymnast, but they're, like, breaking down walls and, like, they're doing things that no one ever thought they'd do. And you have a coach that's just, I taught them that. Who cares? They did the work. Like, you just gave them the guideline. They did the work. That's what it came down to.
Yeah.
And I wish there were more businesses where they were like, hey, I'm having trouble with X, Y, and Z. You seem like you're doing great here. Can you just give them, you don't have to tell them everything, but give them insight.
Yeah.
Just give them a little bit of, hey, you can do this. I know that was something I struggled on too. Like, this is something I found works for me. You don't have to give them your whole business plan. Like,
right.
Give someone a nugget. Why not? Like, we're all here. We're all struggling. We're all just trying to make it in this life. Like, why can't you just want to help someone?
Yeah, absolutely. That reminds me, there's a quote from Ram Dass, who I'm not like an expert on, but we're all just walking each other home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so you're drinking the drink. So let's talk about it, because it was a journey, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
To get it.
So I talked to my boss about it.
Okay.
And I talked to the owner of Point 5.
Okay.
Because she obviously owns a non-alcoholic bottle shop. So I had to kind of talk to her about some of the botanicals and non-alcoholic spirit options. And then also, my boss also read the book Language of Flowers.
Oh, good.
And so we were like ballparking it.
Okay.
And
it's amazing. Like you knocked it out of the park.
It's so tasty.
It's so good. Yeah.
This was actually my boss's pick.
Oh, shout out to them.
Right. We were talking about it at the table one day, and she just pulls it up and she was like, I found the perfect drink. And she was, I know it's a hibiscus Paloma, but we joked because a lot of the book takes place on a vineyard.
Yeah.
She was like, you should call it a hibiscus Sonoma, because Sonoma is where wine is made. And I was like, okay, I'm so here for this. And so from then on, we all joked that it was a hibiscus Sonoma.
Oh, maybe that's what
Paloma.
we'll call it. Because, so it's a hibiscus Paloma, and it's non-alcoholic, so it's made with Ritual Tequila.
Yes.
Which we love. What's your favorite NA to tequila? I mean, you're kind of my NA expert.
Actually, Ritual is my favorite.
Okay.
But, it makes me so mad, I wish I wrote it down. Because I went to Point 5 the other day.
Is it Seedlip? Not Seedlip.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But she let me try one.
Oh, okay.
And it's smoky like a mezcal.
Oh, okay.
And it is the closest thing. Okay, so I haven't drank in 2.5 years.
Okay.
But the one thing, like, I look for, and honestly, you're just not going to find it, and it makes me kind of sad. Mm-hmm. But there's, like, a tingliness in your jaw and your tongue almost that happens when you have tequila or even a really dry wine. Mm. You'll get it, like, right in the back of your jaw.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's like a bite, a tingliness. And I look for that everywhere, but obviously I'm pretty sure it's just the alcohol that does it. But that was the closest I could get.
And then, so it's a Paloma, otherwise grapefruit juice, I think lime. I think you could probably add in simple syrup. But so we added the hibiscus, and then you sent me the recipe, and I was like, amazing. And then I was like, hibiscus syrup? Because that's the beginning of the recipe. I don't know if you read it. It's now take your boiling water and your hibiscus, and you make simple syrup, which I've done before. And I was like, where do I find hibiscus? So I found Total Wine had hibiscus syrup, but I could not find it anywhere else. And it also... It has it's like literally marinated hibiscus.
Yeah, it looked so cool when you made it and you put it like on top. I was like, oh, it's an actual flower.
It's an actual flower, yeah. And I had already put the syrup in the cocktail. But so it's actually the flower. So I was thinking like this would be really pretty suggestion for anybody. A mimosa, to put the hibiscus in the... in the flute, and then have it be so pretty. But it's very pretty in our cocktail today. So thank you for bringing it. And thank you to your boss.
Yeah, I was like really shocked. She was so excited, and she was like scrolling through, and like within 5 minutes, she was like, I have your drink. Perfect. And I was like, okay.
Tell your boss or anyone else, they have the hibiscus syrup with the actual hibiscus, wild hibiscus flower syrup. And you can get it at Total Wine. And they have tons of syrups too, if you like wanted to make cocktails. And they also sell NA spirits.
Yeah. They have a shockingly, at least the one in our side of town.
Yeah.
Has a pretty shockingly large NA selection.
Yeah.
I know, my husband's always, I found this one. And I think he gets more excited trying to find NA drinks.
Yeah.
And he doesn't drink them. But then he's, oh, look, I found you this mocktail. And I'm
That's
like,
so
cool.
sweet. I do feel like so we have a girls group that we meet like once a month. And I think like, I know myself and Christina, who's, maybe Emily does too, I don't know. But I'll be like, I'll find something. I'm like, Mary might like this. And I'll have it ready. So, yeah, it's kind of fun. And then so many people are drinking less these days, too.
Yeah.
It's very good for your health. You look amazing.
Thank you. I mean, I lost like 40 pounds when I quit drinking.
Really?
Yeah. It was wild.
Okay.
I did not realize that it was like, all of a sudden, it was like my pants were falling off of me.
Okay.
I remember my boss being like, we don't wear crop tops here. And I was like, I'm not wearing a crop top. And I looked down and I was like, oh, my pants are too low now.
Oh, no.
I was like, I'm sorry.
I know. Well, I hope you're a small person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think it was just like a lot of inflammation, kind of like.
Yeah.
Weight gain from drinking. And then also, like, I have PCOS.
Okay.
Which can increase your insulin resistance, and then alcohol has sugar in it.
Yeah.
So I think my body was just like...
Yeah.
And then I stopped drinking, and literally within a month, I had already lost like 15 pounds.
Wow.
And then I think it took me a total of like 6 to 9 months, and I had lost almost 40. It was wild. I went from... And I
had no idea. I mean, I've known you through this whole experience. I didn't know you lost that much weight.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, I only
Because you weren't big before.
No, I'd always been like 115-ish, 120, and then I hit almost 150.
Okay.
And it was only for like a year, maybe a year and a half. And then all of a sudden I dropped like 40 pounds and I was down to 110.
Okay.
And I was like, it was really weird. There was a lot of body dysmorphia that kind of went along with it, because I was like, went from being teeny tiny to big to teeny tiny again in 2 years. And I was like, what is happening? And I was like, my clothes don't fit. What's going on?
Do you have advice for people that might go on that journey?
Oh, the non-alcoholic journey?
That, I guess. Yeah, or like you said body dysmorphia. Both of them, I guess.
So the non-alcoholic journey, finding a support system that like wholeheartedly will back you is wildly important. I know a lot of people who go through like the AA route. I did not. Mine also wasn't like, I think I had a coping problem. I used it to cope, but I don't think I had like a full-blown drinking problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just thought you stopped drinking because you didn't like it when you stopped drinking.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I was kind of like that 0 to 100%.
Okay.
Where either I was having like one drink or I was blackout and people were driving me home.
Okay.
And there was no in between. And I realized I didn't like how I felt that my friends constantly had to like stop what they were doing to take care of me. Or they had to drive me home and Eddie had to take care of me the rest of the night. And it doesn't feel good to put that on the people you care for. Like, now, is it really fun if everyone has to stop having fun to care for you?
Yeah.
No one wants to hang out with that person. They're just going to be like, all right, we're going to leave you at home.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like my personal decision. And it was really hard the first few months. And you do kind of like go through a weird sugar obsession.
I've heard that.
And I found like a replacement. I kept trying to like put things in wine glasses and be like, oh, this makes me feel like I'm having a drink again. But it didn't really work. And weirdly, this sounds ridiculous, I started drinking Capri Suns.
Really?
And to this day, every night, my husband, like if he cooks dinner, he will make the plate, put it on the table, and put 2 Capri Suns next to it.
Really?
And it's every night at dinner, I have 2 Capri Suns. And I don't know why, but that has become like the drink that replaced alcohol.
Okay.
I don't know why. It could have just been mental. Who knows? But it worked.
I had never asked you about it before, but thank you for sharing. I think for a lot of people, it is, there's always challenges with alcohol. I mean, like, even if you don't think you like have a problem, like we've all had moments we've had too much to drink or
absolutely. I think there's a lot going into it where it is the most like accepted addiction.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many people out there that are like, oh, it's the only way they know to unwind.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think in my journey, I learned that there are other avenues. Don't get me wrong, I still struggle day to day to be like, okay, like I am still like, I can feel all the stress in my shoulders. How do I let go of this?
Yes.
But just trying to be mindful. And a lot of it is just trying to be in the moment has helped a lot versus being like constantly looking at what's ahead and trying to figure out what am I going to do? How am I going to phrase this? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
If I just stop and think and take a big deep breath and feel it like get really back in my body really helped.
Okay. That's amazing. But yeah, once again, kudos to you for being sober and dealing with that. And, it's amazing.
Thanks.
You're very always, and, we hang out all the time. And
Yeah.
you're always like down for fun cocktails and mocktails and things like that. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, so that's why I knew. I was like, I have to land this. I have to land the plane and find this hibiscus syrup, and I did it.
And you killed it. This drink is amazing.
Yes. Yeah, and I love Paloma. I mean, Paloma is probably one of my favorite cocktails. You can have it spicy. You can have it sweet. It's just the best. Yeah. Oh, we're calling this the Hibiscus Sonoma. Very cool. Okay, so I want to talk about your life as a florist. And also, okay, question one. Mm-hmm. The floral shop in the book. Mm-hmm. Believable or no?
Yes, but no.
Okay.
I think in the book, she tends to be a little more of an event florist than a floral shop.
Okay.
And I think there is a mild disconnect in reality of a floral shop and an event florist, because it's very difficult to be both.
Yeah.
And even at my shop, we do weddings, we do corporate events, but we do a la carte weddings for the most part, because when you really start to get down to the nitty gritty, income of doing an event and also having daily deliveries, you almost come up in the red doing all of the big events, because you need all the manpower, and by the end of it, you're really not making as much as you should be from it. So a lot of florists go one direction or the other, not both. So I think that's kind of an interesting part of the book but I would say she kind of leans more towards the event side in the book, because she talks a lot about the weddings that she does, and they even talk about one wedding where she pulls out the flowers and it's red roses and baby's breath, and she was like, ugh. And every florist I know, there's no shame on red roses and baby's breath, but I think there's a time and place, and there's a person who loves it. There's always someone out there that's gonna love something that you don't. But a lot of florists are I think it's been done and done and done. That it just gets a little, same with white and blue. Everyone wants white and blue, and it's a gorgeous combination.
Like a hydrangea and a white rose or something.
Yeah, and you start doing arrangements, and then you do 15 or 16 or events, and they're all the same color scheme, and there's only but so many flowers that come in blue or white that you're just and I've done the same thing over and over and over.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice to kind of do something different and then come back to it. But yeah, I just find it really interesting, in the book, how she says that, and I just cracked up. I could just see it. I was yep, the red roses and baby's breath. And again, no shame to it, because I think there is a fitting place for every flower.
Sure.
The other thing I thought was interesting in the book is some of the flowers she uses, I would never put in an arrangement because they wouldn't last.
Okay.
She talks about regular customers she has, and he said that he wants flowers to make his wife happy, and she's, can you give me any other descriptors here? Anything. And he describes, is that as specific as you can be? Earl tilted his head and was thoughtful for a moment. Now that I think about it, she's never really been a happy woman. He laughed to himself, but she was passionate and smart and interested. She always had an opinion, even about things she knew nothing about. I miss that. And so she went and she talks about grabbing periwinkle, which is a ground cover flower.
Yeah.
And taking the roots and tying it to the stems of, I think it was not carnations, mums, is it? Spider mums, I think. And taping it there. And I thought about it and I was like, but wouldn't that die really quickly? You just, I have, honestly, maybe calling out to the other florists out there, I've never tried it, but maybe someone has. Maybe it works. Okay. I don't know. But my plant and flower mind, I was like, he would get home and that would be wilted.
Yeah.
And flowers are expensive these days.
Yeah.
They are not. So it's just some of her flower picks where I was like, yeah, I love the fact that you picked this based on the language of it, but also what is the practicality of it? Did he get home and was that flower dead?
Probably.
There were definitely parts of the books where I was like, Wait a second.
I don't think she's the flower expert. I think it's beautiful that she tied it in. But.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, I loved that she like tried to pull in the language of flowers, but I think in the world of floristry, it's not always the most practical thing.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, what kind of conversations, since your boss has read it, like, what kind of conversations y'all have had?
We actually haven't had a conversation about the book. She read it, I think, when it came out.
Okay.
And actually, this book is my other coworkers.
Oh, so you've all read it
to me. Yeah.
All the this is, if you're a florist, you have to read this book.
I guess so. It's funny because 2 of my coworkers haven't, I don't think.
Okay.
I just listened to it on like a whim. I think it was around like New Year's-ish time. And I was just like, I want a feel-good book. And wasn't expecting something to be heart-wrenching and heartwarming at the same time. Yeah. But when I brought it up, my boss was like, oh, I read that. And then the old manager of the shop, she was like, oh, I read that too. I have the book. You're going on this podcast. Do you want to borrow it? And I was like, yes. And thank you. You were saving my life now, because I kept going to the library and it's constantly checked out.
It's a very popular book. Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I'll go buy it. And she was like, don't buy it. I have it.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think probably a lot of people have. Okay, cool. But yeah, so the floristry in it is maybe
a little questionable.
Yes.
I do love that they have her, like, going to the actual wholesaler and, like, having to haggle down prices and get flowers from the wholesaler. I loved that they tied all of that in, because that's also how she, like, comes back to finding Grant.
Yes. Oh, tell us about finding Grant.
Yeah, I find their, like, romance kind of, like, amazing, and also I kind of thought about it, and he was, like, 16 when she was, like, 8. Which... when she first saw him, when she was living with Elizabeth. And at first I was like, that's kind of a big age difference, but I also can't judge because my husband is 10 years older than me.
That's true.
But
when did you meet Eddie? How old?
So talking about age differences, he actually was a student, like, we met through Crestwood Elementary.
Okay. Shout out to Crestwood. Go Monarchs.
Yeah, exactly. We were the Rams back then.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. But we had a gym teacher there who did a gymnastics program.
Okay.
And my sisters were in it. I always wanted to do it. And every time my sisters went and I was like 3 or 4 years old, I'd play around. And she was like, you're going to die. Because my sisters would try and teach me things. And she was like, just bring her here. Eddie was older guy, like, kid. He was like middle school or high school.
Yeah.
Probably middle school. And he would come back and help. And so he was actually a small town celebrity. Yeah. Everyone knew Eddie.
I was about to bring... At what point do we bring up that Eddie's a little famous?
When I was a kid, he would come back for the gymnastics shows and he would perform. And the entire gym would chant his name. So we joked it's the Eddie chant. And all of a sudden you would say, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we live in the same neighborhood we both grew up in. Yeah. So we went down... I remember going to the pool with you for 4th of July. Yeah. And someone walking by the tent. And then backtracking and being like, Eddie Green? And I was like... yeah. And meanwhile, I was a kid from high school. Like, I have a yearbook that no one signed. And I do not appear in it once. Like, I didn't have a photo in it. I'm not in any club. My name's not in it. And then I'm married to the local celebrity.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I will
I don't
be
know
like...
how it happened.
Yeah, I have... So he qualified for the Olympics, right?
He didn't qualify. He was an AAU national champion. Okay. He did want to. I can't remember if he was like about to go to trials or something along those lines. He ended up, I can't remember if it's when he blew out his knee or tore his ACL, but it was one or the other. He has had many, many injuries. Yeah. But he continued to compete even up until 25. He did NAICG. I was trying to make sure I had my letters in the right order. And he's been coaching for almost 25 years now. And he's had kids get college scholarships. He loves what he does. He truly does.
Well, good. And he's great. He's great. But yeah, I've talked to people because Annabelle was doing gymnasts. She was at the gym that Eddie coaches at, and I was saying something, and I was like, my neighbor's Eddie Green. And like the moms were like, oh, really?
Yeah, Richmond is very small.
Yeah. Anyway, very cool. Okay, so going back to the book.
Yeah, to Grant.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, oh, it's kind of weird. But then I was like, I mean, I can't judge because obviously, like, I kind of knew Eddie but didn't. Like, Eddie just remembered a small child running around all the time. He
Right.
didn't register it as me. And I feel like that's kind of the way Grant and Victoria was. But he was like, I remember seeing this small child with...
Yes. And by the time y'all got together, you were in your 20s. He was in his 30s.
Oh, yeah. I was like almost 30. I think I was like 27 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I just want to clarify for the listeners.
Yes.
Good. So Grant is someone that she knows, and then they get together. Yes.
Yes. And she actually, I don't think ever really realizes like who he is until after they'd met a few times. Mm-hmm. And he gives her a flower. And she's like, I know this guy, but I don't know why I know this guy. Like, why is he paying attention to me? No guys have ever paid attention to me before. And then he's, oh yeah, I recognized you immediately. Mm-hmm. I knew you were Elizabeth's, like, daughter, essentially. Mm-hmm. And because Grant is Elizabeth's nephew. Mm-hmm. And her and his mom were estranged from...
Elizabeth and Grant's mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And due to some conflict that they got mad at each other. And I think there was like a mental health thing happening with Grant's mother. Because like towards the end of the book, he kind of talks about having to care for her. And like she wasn't quite right for him growing up. Mm. And making for a hard dynamic for him. And I think seeing Victoria at the wholesaler, because he's a flower farmer.
Yes.
And I think seeing her at the wholesaler and kind of like reaching out was a way for him to heal some of the things he had going on, because Elizabeth was like the perfect caretaker almost until she kind of had her downfall as well. And her downfall came a lot from the fact that she felt like her sister could never forgive her. But at the same time, I think her sister had gotten so unwell that she couldn't. And I don't think Elizabeth realized it, if that makes sense. So then she kind of like slips into this deep depression. Mm. And eventually leading to why Victoria had to be given up again and gone back into foster care. Mm-hmm. And I think for Grant, kind of rekindling with Victoria and then eventually rekindling with Elizabeth was like a very healing structure for him. Mm-hmm. And then where he grew up, as well as allowing Victoria to realize that like the mistakes she made doesn't define her. And there are people who still care and still want what's best and want to like watch her succeed, and they want to be there to support her. And I think Victoria and like a lot of people in the world, they want the support, but they don't know how to accept it. And I think a lot of the book is her just kind of like learning to accept the support that Grant is trying and Renata are constantly trying to give her. And I think that's the beautiful part of their like love is he never stops. He's constantly, she will push him away and he's, okay, but I'm still going to be here and this is the support I can offer you. And the only thing I can do is wait for you to be ready for it. And that's what I loved about their dynamic. And I'm not a big romance person. Mm-hmm. And this was like just enough romance without it being like mushy gushy romance. Mm-hmm. So it was a good bridge.
Yeah, you summed that up so well. And I guess that leads to my question. Do you read this kind of genre often? You said you don't. What do you read?
I do. So I tend to do, I like a little satirical. Like right now I'm listening or reading When You're Engulfed in Flames. Where
I was like David Starrett.
Yeah. So, and I normally kind of lend myself more to like Chuck Palahniuk or more like classic, like J.D. Salinger. Yeah. Tends to be more my vibe. Okay. I like it to be fiction. I like it to be based in like real life. But I like it to be a little bit dark and saucy.
Okay.
Like I don't need it to be like romantic.
Yeah.
I like the dark and twisties. I don't know.
Okay. We love this.
Yeah. Which is why this was such a weird out of left field for me.
Yeah.
But I think it had enough of, I hate to say like the downer points, but it had just enough of that like heart-wrenching to heartwarming, where it didn't feel over the top of, oh, everything wound up being perfect and everything's great now.
Yeah.
It still left things kind of like rough around the edges with like room for improvement at the like resolution. And I loved that because it felt more real versus, oh, great, this kid came up and now they're super successful and everything's fine.
Yeah.
That's not what life is. You know what I mean? There's nothing that's ever perfectly tied up at the end.
Right.
And I think that bridged me very nicely into this book.
Yes. No, I was thinking everything you were saying and I was like, because life isn't like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate anything that's like super sugar-coated because I'm like, you're just like leading people down a false... There are so many people that read books and they're like, this is what I want my life to be like.
I know.
I know you feel this way with like being a librarian. People do this with being a florist where they're like, when I retire, I'm going to become a librarian or I'm going to become a florist. And I'm like,
sorry, I just rolled my eyes so hard.
Right? It's so frustrating because you're like, there is so much more that goes to this job that it's not sunshine and rainbows and butterflies. Do I love it? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it everything I've ever wanted? Yes. Yeah. But the amount of times I've cut my hands, like cutting flowers, and it's just, it's not as easy
as people think it is. Yeah.
People romanticize it a lot.
Further, I got cussed out this week, and like that's not unusual for my job. Yeah. Like how many people have been like, I want to do this when I retire. And I'm like, you will get burnt out so fast because it's not what you think it is. Yeah. Anyway.
The amount of people who come into our shop and they're like, when I retire, can I get a job here? And we're like, all of us have like arthritis in our hands. Everyone has tennis elbow. Like half of us have like rotator cuff problems. Yeah. And we're like, when you retire, you can't lift the bucket anymore, man. I know. Like, what do you think you're going to do?
It's a sitting down job. Like I had someone come in and I forget what their wife had. And I felt bad for them. Their wife had something. It was like a slow degenerative disease where she couldn't do a lot of physical stuff anymore. He's, can I get her a job here? I want a job where she can just sit all day. And I was like, no one here sits all day. Like the people that work the front desk of the library probably get their 10,000 steps in easy going back and forth, lifting bins. Yeah. Lifting bins that are like 30 to 40 pounds. I mean, there's so much that goes on to it anyway. Yeah. Sorry, you said that. No. I'm like, I can make a whole episode about this.
Right? And that's the thing is I think so many of us just see a job and we're like, oh, that looks like it's going to be easy breezy. Yeah. Like I get to just play with flowers and smell them all day. And it's like, that's great, but also we're all probably gonna die of some sort of the like pesticide poisoning. The amount of times where I've had a coworker be like, don't forget to wash your hands before you eat your food. And I'm like halfway through a sandwich and I'm like, oh, you're right. I didn't even think about it. No. My hands turn like black and green at holidays. My pointer finger always has slices in it and it's always like a weird color. Because it's from stripping all the stuff. Yeah, my hands are always like beat to living in whatever.
Yeah, I have to tell the listeners, you are amazing with plants too. You have like tons of plants in your home, and you take care of your outdoor plants too. So it's like that is a passion of yours.
Yes, plants in general is definitely. I do also a lot of the plant care. So like at the shop I work at, if we have like clients that will ask for plant care and they send me out. Yeah. Or we also have clients who will ask for like outdoor containers to be done and they send me out. Yeah. And I love it. It's so much fun. It's something about having your hands in the dirt. They say it actually can cure depression because of the enzymes in the dirt. And really? Honestly, I can't say I disagree. Okay. There's like a self-kindness. Yeah. When you care for plants, because it's kind of like having an extension of you that you're speaking so kindly to and having taken care of and watering and do mine get as much attention as they probably should? Probably not. But
they look great. Yeah. They seem happy. Yeah, I love that. You've got notes here. I want to make sure. Is there anything that we have not gotten to about the book that you wanted to make sure we covered?
Honestly, I think I kind of like hit on everything. The only thing towards the end was just, I loved that how I kind of phrased it in my notes was the book itself is more about like connection and how it heals a multitude of ailments. And we kind of touched on that before, but the need for second chances. And when you're raised in a situation where you're not given the best situations to like grow and thrive, you learn impulsivity more and learning that like the impulsive mistakes you made prior don't define you, and that the second chances allow you to forgive other people, but also opens up space for you to have grace and forgive yourself. To learn that you can to learn that you are more worthy of things that you didn't know you were. And when we do that, like, it allows us to show up, ourselves and others, really, to show up as our best selves in this world, even if it's not in the most traditional sense. Yeah. Because, like, towards the end of the book, like I said, things do round out to be a better ending for her, but they are not in a traditional sense at all. And I think a lot of people view certain situations and they're like, oh, they don't have a mom and a dad, so that's not okay. They're not in a healthy home. And it's like, are they being cared for? Are they being loved? Are they being do they have a good support system? That's what's important. It's not necessarily how is it the traditional right way to be? No. But it was the best way for all of them to be able to allow each other to show up in the world as their true and best selves.
Yeah.
And allow that continual growth to happen. And I thought that was like a really important aspect of the book, was like to show that towards the end of it's raw, it's real, it's messy, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I was actually watching a documentary and they were talking about people who in like small African tribes who came to other countries, and like some as refugees, some as just they wanted to move to a different place, and they were like, I was so much happier in my tribe. I was so much happier there. Was I technically deemed as poor? Yeah. I didn't have the material things that I have now, but I had the community. We all helped each other. We danced, we sang, we played. We did it together.
Yeah.
Where now I feel lonelier. I feel more isolated, but I have more things. And I have more luxuries and more amenities, and it's really interesting to kind of see that like community and connection. I really feel like is one of the ultimate ways to save someone, whether it be through addiction or like even down to senility and like elderly. They've said that the best way to prevent it is through connection, is through community. The people who feel who are left alone more often show more signs of senility than those who are around their family or around friends and people who care for them. So I don't know. I guess that's something I like didn't entirely realize was something that weighed so heavy on my heart, but I mean that's part of why I like doing all of the jobs I've ever worked. Is like being part of that service aspect and like talking to people every day and being a barista for 10 years or being a coach for 15 years. Having kids come to me and be like, I'm so excited. No one else was excited, and I could be excited with them for this. I could help be that, yes, let's do it. Or even like a customer at Starbucks who was just like, hey, I've had people come in and be like, I had this horrible loss, and you can give them this. I feel like I'm using the word connection so much, but it's true. It's like a lifeline almost. Like, just to know that in this moment where you feel so alone, that you're not. And someone's just willing to just sit there with you is so powerful. And yeah,
it's beautiful. You're right. You're 100% right.
Thank you. I was like, I feel like I'm like kind of off on a tangent now.
No, we've solved all the world's problems. Connection and community, people, get with the program.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so who would we recommend this book for?
I always have a hard time with that because
it's a tough question. I really set people up for failure with that question.
I was like joking around with Eddie, and I was like looking over the like some of the. You were like, these are kind of the guidelines, and that one I looked at him and I was like, I don't know, females, like I don't. And I was like, I don't know, and he was like, really? That's it? And I was like, did I even write anything down about it?
Okay, to clarify, I don't know if I've ever said this on here, but that's my thing as a librarian is like every book it's reader, every reader it's book. And every book is for someone and figuring out who that is. And people will come in and they'll say, I want a book, Gone Girl. And Gone Girl is so tough because nobody...
It's weird and twisty.
Yeah, and nobody's written a book that was just sort of like the blueprint for so many other things that weren't as good.
Accurate.
But then you have to talk like, okay, were you into the vibes? Was it the story? Was it the twist? Like those kinds of things that really are what connect us with stories.
That's true, yeah. I could see that being like a really good way to kind of get down to the root of it. Yeah. I do that with flowers all the time where I'm like, okay, what kind of price point do we have? Do we want it in a vase or a wrap? What colors do we want? Is there anything you hate? Is there anything they love? What can we make this work? Like,
and it's hard to get people to focus on what they actually like about something and to like really have that deep thought.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'd recommend it for, I think, women, but like you've talked so much about the building of the community. Victoria's someone that comes in struggling and she leaves with an outcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's looking for something that kind of hits you in the feels a little bit, but also leaves you feeling a little warm and fuzzy, this is definitely a book for you.
Okay.
There's nothing in it that's going to be like trigger warning-y. I mean, there's like a few things that I wouldn't say anything in it is has a trigger warning or needs one. Okay. But I do think that if you're looking for something where you're like, you want something that makes you feel something at times, but also winds up making you feel kind of nice at the end, this is a good book. This is a great book for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Thank you for that. I wanted to ask, is there anything you wanted to put a spotlight on or anything, you want to share with the listeners?
If you want flowers in Richmond, I would say come to Strawberry Fields Flowers and Finds.
Yes. Number 1.
We were number 1 according to Style Weekly.
Which is all we care about.
It's great. It's funny because we never pay attention to it. They called us one day and were like, surprise! And we were like, oh.
And you don't promote it or anything.
We don't. The reason we don't is because, how we're competing against Coleman's and, Strange's. Mass names.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to be like, vote for us against a giant name like that.
Yeah.
It's awesome to be named
But you win anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we came 3rd in, RVA Weekly or something.
Okay.
But we're always, top 3.
In the top 3.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, like I said, we do corporate events. We do little, wedding a la carte. We do daily deliveries.
Yes.
We do pickup.
You do home plant care.
Yeah, we do at-home plant care. We do pots, outdoor potting. We do, yeah.
Okay.
Come holler at us.
Love it. This has been amazing. I think you and I could talk for 3 more hours.
Probably.
Maybe we will. But yeah, so anyway, thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And now we have a new Hibiscus Sonoma.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. have you ever been in here?
I don't know about this room, no.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So
this is the infamous Murphy bed?
Infamous Murphy bed, yes. And it was used last night.
Love it.
Annabelle had a sleepover. Okay. All right. Thank you for spending some time with me and my guest for an episode of Drinks in the Library. For more information about the show, you can find us on Instagram at Drinks in the Library, on the World Wide Web, drinksinthelibrary.com, or shoot me an email at drinkspod@gmail.com. Until next time, cheers.